Yes, this is the stunningly gorgeous, head-turning, beautiful Porsche Panamera 4 e-hybrid Sport Turismo 2019 model year. Now, why 2019 when we're this far into 2020? Well, they're not exactly that easy to come by, A. B, when Porsche Canada asks you, sir, would you, well, they don't call me sir, obviously, but would you like to drive the Panamera e-hybrid Sport Turismo? You'd be an idiot to say no. And especially, C3, whatever, when the 2020 model year car is unchanged, save for pricing. Now, I'll give you the base price of this car, the Panamera 4 e-hybrid Sport Turismo 2019. Base price was $121,800. Base price in 2020, $122,800. So we've covered that. The remainder of the pricing or the pricing information is all 2020. I have so many things to say about this car. I can almost feel my neurons crashing into each other. Look, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning. This car in particular has just about all the visual enhancing options in Porsche's catalog for the Panamera. And it really gives it an absolute rich, beautiful style. Okay, so I told you the base price. Let's just go right into it. Oh, just so you know, a non-e-hybrid Panamera 4 Sport Turismo is about $11,000 less. $11,000 less in 2020. Also, the most expensive Turbo S e-hybrid executive is $226,500. Okay, keep in mind I will only pretty much speak of speak of the e-hybrids, and I might compare it to a non-e-hybrid, but there are so many versions of the Panamera that it would be crazy to try and attempt to cover them all. All right, so options on this car. One is, yeah, I know the spoiler's up. I roll like that. What can I tell you? One, the color, chalk. About $3,800, wonderful. The other option, sport exhaust, I'll walk back around and you'll see the big black tailpipes. There's a sport design package on this car, which gives you these bumpers, the side skirts, the different air intakes in the front, the rear bumpers. That is the single most impactful, I think, design enhancement on this car over the regular car without the package, obviously. The other one, well, it's no secret. These 21-inch wheels are absolutely to die for. I mean, they almost bring a tear to my eye. They're so absolutely gorgeous. What else is on this car? Oh, it's got all the blackout options. I mean, if you were to work out all the blackout options, you're looking at about $4,500 in options. It's completely nuts. What else? Heads-up display. Oh, there's a premium package plus 2, which gives you soft closed doors, cooled seats in the front, heated seats in the back, and a bunch of other features for a great grand total of $170,000. Now, if you see it drive by, you would almost think that it's a Turbo S, but it's not. So it's kind of a Panamera hybrid in disguise, without the 677 horsepower from the Turbo S e-hybrid. I could stare at this car forever. Oh, and by the way, $170,000 excludes the Porsche roof rack. And I know for a fact that my Golf roof rack is $400 retail. So I'm assuming with a Porsche logo, it's a slightly bit more expensive than that. Oh yeah, well there are the tailpipes. Okay. Let's do the tour, the usual tour as we do. So, it's a wagon, deal with it. Trunk space is 425 usable liters. I believe it. There's the bag for the cable, which is at home right now. It is still 100 liters less large than the regular Panamera Sport Turismo. So you lose about a quarter of your trunk space because of the batteries and the e-hybrid system. Something to keep in mind. Now in the rear, do I have to show you soft closed doors? There you go. All right, so in the back, this is a 4-seater, as we know. so the kids are very happy. They have plenty of room. The seat rolled back. It's in comfort access position, so it looks a lot tighter than it actually is, but they have just enough room. There is one thing though, if you will put your kids in here, look at the greenhouse, how high it is compared to the topmost part of my daughter's seat. That means she can't really see outside unless she looks up. You can also look through the panoramic sunroof, but that's something to consider. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't bother the adults too much, but anyway. Okay, so in we go. So the remainder of the interior is all Porsche Panamera, which means exceptional fit and finish, beautiful materials. Yeah, you see that? 38 degrees Celsius, I gotta start this thing. That, for my American friends, is 100 degrees Fahrenheit, or just about. Okay, I gotta turn cooled seats on. I'll let the AC figure out its thing. Yes, it'll start blasting. Turn it down a little bit. Oh yes, so the white-faced center analog tachometer is an option too. It'll be gone by then. Beautiful, 2 screens configurable. You can have a full Nav display up there, various menus. And speaking of menus, because I love to play with it, this is your standard 12-inch screen, which is beautiful. Now, this car has an unbelievably long list. It's dizzying almost, the number of drive modes available and possible in this car. As you can see, you also have your suspension setup, the chassis here, and your ride height, because this has a standard 3-chamber air suspension, which is glorious. I find, because this is an e-hybrid, I use the hybrid button and I come to this menu, and I always use hybrid auto. It is the simplest way to get the most out of the efficiency afforded by the technology in the Panamera e-hybrid. That 32-kilometer range right there is a little bit less than what I've managed. My max was 36. It is rated at about 45 kilometers, which isn't much, I suppose, or it's just enough depending on where you drive. You can also change your drive modes right here if you so choose. The steering wheel is a piece of wonderment. How about that? Speaking of wonderment, the center console here is gorgeous, but when the sun hits it just wrong, depending on your driving position, it's absolutely blinding. By the way, this shifter is also an option. But you do have your ESP setup, your chassis. I don't even know if you can see that. Cooled seats, HVAC. There's your individual drive mode selector. You have all the redundant menus right here. The haptic feedback is really nice. Some of the nicest stuff I've experienced in a lot of cars. What else? Oh yeah, I think you can see it. Can you see it? I can't even see it on the screen of my phone. Well, it's got the heads-up display, which is fine. Visibility is generally good. I love to sit absolutely low in these cars. So that is a godsend, if you will, for forward visibility. The pillar is a decent size. It's an extremely familiar position. If you've ever driven a 911, you get behind the wheel of any Panamera, in fact, and it feels like you're home. Beautiful dashboard, like I said, fit finish, amazing seats. Look like they're right out of a race car. This isn't a race car, however, but it is quite quick. It's stunning to look at, and if you keep in mind it's an e-hybrid and you're driving it for efficiency, it is wonderful at a certain cost though. So let's go for a spin. Okay, so I have to treat the Panamera 4 e-hybrid like any other plug-in hybrid, and essentially it's you need to answer the question, why would you buy this car, which is $11,000 over the regular Panamera 4 Sport Turismo. And in most cases for the plug-in hybrids, it's you want to be a prisoner of that electric range. Seriously. In the case of the Porsche e-hybrid system, well, there's a different answer, thankfully. And it's not entirely about efficiency. So this car, plug-in hybrid, has a big weight disadvantage. You pay more, but you also have to drag around 700 pounds of batteries and electric motors with you wherever you go. So that actually has an impact on efficiency. And the proof is right here. Now the Panamera 4, right, costs 11 grand less, weighs 700 pounds less. And its 3-liter turbocharged V6, which puts out 330 horsepower and equal torque, will consume on average 10.7, that's combined, 10.7 liters per 100 kilometers. The e-hybrid has a 2.9 liter turbocharged V6. That, which with the electric engine, will give you a total system output of 457 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. Aha! I mentioned you get about 45 kilometers of electric range, which I have not managed. The combined fuel economy number on this car is 10.5 liters per 100 kilometers. So right there, as far as efficiency is concerned, this is total nothing. There's nothing. If you drive it more than the electric range and you don't plug it in all the time, you've spent 11 grand for nothing. You've also lost 1/4 of your trunk volume for nothing. That is unless, of course, you want to go fast, because the e-hybrid will hit 100 kilometers an hour in 4.6 seconds versus 5.7 for the Panamera 4 non-e-hybrid. So therein lies the answer to why you buy a Porsche e-hybrid. Performance. Yeah, it makes sense to me anyway. Everything else about the car is exceptional. Steering is heavy, very, very quick and precise. And again, I'm in just auto hybrid mode, right? That's what I do all the time. Right now, I'm doing 100% electric. I'm driving just under 80 kilometers an hour. And it'll take you up to 140 kilometers an hour in electric mode alone, which I could actually try right now if I can feather the throttle enough. But if you do put the hammer down, well, the V6 comes in and you get all that power. The electric boost feels as good, not quite as sustained, however, but as good as like a twin turbo V8. It's got that same, it's got instant response, right? But no, I'm not gonna manage to do this. All right, so there's 100. I won't go up to 140 because not legal. But anyway, I'm pretty sure I can do it. Like I'm 110, closing in on 115. Anyhow, it can be done. There you go, there's proof. The ride quality. Okay, yeah, steering is great. The brakes, the only problem with the brakes is when the regen braking and the petrol engine kind of shut on, shut off, and you're slowing down and you want to use the actual physical brakes, there's an occasional little laggy hesitation. Nowhere near as bad as the Volvo XC90 T8 that I've driven. But that's it. Otherwise, the brakes are really powerful. The highlight is without a doubt the ride comfort, the quietness, the refinement. This is not quite A8, not quite S-Class, but damn near close. I'm doing just under 120 right now. The petrol engine is not turned on yet. I've been very generous, or sorry, very reserved on the throttle, I should say, with the ride quality. The ride height is adjustable, right? The air suspension has a lot to do with that. If you do put it in the lowest settings because it looks cool, well, the dampers go into sport automatically. But it's in the medium ride height, everything's set in comfort. This thing glides over any rough road, any unpleasant surface. It's incredible. And if I've posted pictures on Instagram of the car on a country road, and I had everything just set medium ride height, comfort, dampers, the adaptive dampers, which are, and the car, it's not that it floats over the surface, but it kind of grips, but it gives you that damping and wheel travel just enough. It's magical. This car is wonderful. For $11,000 for the e-hybrid, for the power boost, fine. For efficiency-wise, you're lying to yourself. What are the alternatives? I don't know, call me silly, but a large, luxury, high-powered station wagon like this, I mean, no four-door coupe comes even close to being this cool, this attractive. So there's no real alternative to the Sport Turismo as far as I'm concerned. Oh yeah, and with the Sport exhaust, no, see, I'm in auto mode, so there's a slight delay, but yeah, if I was, there we go. Let's just take care of that. Sport Plus. All right, don't tell anybody. Yeah, this thing rockets. Anyway, that's it.